Thing like that.
lawyers.
But I grew up I feel like I grew up in a time when you'd go to the men's locker room where the bar was, where they'd all the men would play cards as a kid at like country clubs, and you'd walk in and you'd be like, one day. And then sadly that was all taken away before I could ever get there.
Yeah, there's no real place like a bachelor's club. You know, that's what pool halls used to be.
Yeah.
Pool halls was like what pool halls were at the turn of the century in New York City. It was like, and in a lot of places in the country, were these places where young men who didn't want a family, they wanted the bachelor life. They didn't want to have a 9-to-5 job, you know, some square life. They wanted to have action, and they wanted to gamble, and they wanted to drink, and they wanted to stay together and just be men. And they would go to pool halls, and they would gamble. And pool halls were almost entirely revolved around gambling, which is like a little known secret. Like the game is called pocket billiards, but it's called pool because you pool all your money together for a bet. That's the original name. That's the definition of the name pool.
Really?
Yeah. So at the turn of the century in New York City, there was something like 1,000 pool halls. And there was all these guys that just didn't want to do it. They didn't want to get married. They didn't want a 9-to-5 job. They wanted to live the bachelor life. And today, that's like disgraced. If you want to be a bachelor, if you want to be a 50-year-old guy and live by yourself, you never had kids, and you don't have a regular job, you just hang out in a pool hall all the time, you're a fucking loser. Yeah. It's amazing. But you could have the same amount of money, have a wife that you don't really like being around, you know, be trapped in some weird job, and people think you're a winner. You know, you'd have the same amount of money. It's like we have standards, and one of the standards is a bunch of men that don't want to be a part of society. You don't want to have a 9-to-5 job. You better be some outdoor dude. If you know, you better be some camper or something. If you want to like get by and normal conversation with people and tell them that you're not married and you don't have a 9-to-5 job and you don't really care for that, but you're 49 years old. Like, you better have some reading. Like, he's really eccentric. He writes poetry in the woods. Like, you have to have fucking something that you do that people consider like a noble quest. If you're like, you know what I like to do? I like smoking cigarettes. I like drinking whiskey. I like being around my friends. Sometimes I save up enough money, I get a hooker. People are like, what the fuck? They'll get angry at you. They'll get angry at fucking loser. Look at this fucking You want to be like this loser? He doesn't have a family. Sleeps till whenever he wants. Hangs out with a bunch of guys and laughs all night. Fucking loser.
I remember hearing someone right before I fell in love with my wife. I remember seeing someone at the Improv going, "Man, you don't want to be the old guy at the bar." And I was like, "Oh fuck."
I was hanging out with Ron White the other night. It was great.
Yeah.
The old guy at the bar was awesome.
Yes.
We had a couple of drinks. We had some laughs. What are you pulling up, Jamie? What's going on? Some breaking news?
No, it was like a male